Hi there, everyone. Welcome to The Daily Gardener. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling. It's August 9th. Every now and then, plants can surprise you. In this case, I'm talking about more than just a beautiful bloom or general survival. I'm talking about variations that can lead to exciting new varieties. This topic was covered in the newspaper out of Richmond, Indiana, on this day in 1938. Here's what it said. Black hull wheat, the wheat that increased production by millions of bushels in the Southwest, came from just one plant discovered in his wheat field by Earl Clark in Sedgwick County, Kansas. The Wayzata ever-bearing strawberry came from just one plant discovered in a patch of June-bearing strawberries in Hennepin County, Minnesota. And John Brown discovered an entirely new kind of watermelon and a dandy in his melon patch in White County, Illinois. Keep your eyes open. Here's today's brevities. It was on this day that the German botanist and internationally regarded landscape architect Ludwig Winter was born. Winter taught Karl Forrester of Karl Forrester grass fame when he came to visit him in Italy. Early on, Winter was drawn to exotics. When he began gardening in Italy, he experimented with them, and instead of letting them go completely crazy or turn into a jungle, Winter's tropical gardens were very controlled and created a scene. Winter's reputation is inextricably bound to palm trees, and palm gardens became symbolic of the seaside resorts along the Italian Riviera. Ultimately, Winter's contribution was making exotic plants accessible to all gardeners, not just the wealthy. And Winter created new concepts in the marketing of nurseries. He came up with the idea of permanently exhibiting plants. This could help his clients imagine the end result of his garden designs and helped promote various schemes that could be replicated in his clients' gardens. Winter's best gardens were created along the Riviera. Some exist still today. When Monet saw the area, he wrote, "Water, flowers, and poetry merge into a musical harmony of colors that my eyes have never met. In addition to paint certain landscapes, you should have a palette of gems and diamonds. It is wonderful." And it was on this day in 1854 that 2 years of simple living near Walden Pond in Massachusetts was shared with the world in the form of a book. Henry David Thoreau's Walden was published. And it was Thoreau who said, "The question is not what you look at, but what you see." And he also said, "Gardening is civil and social, but it wants vigor and freedom of the forest and the outlaw." And today in 1869, the explorer John Wesley Powell named an area of the Grand Canyon after his botanist. Known as Vasey's Paradise, water spills out from the north rim of the Grand Canyon into the Colorado River. It's a spectacularly beautiful waterfall. A year earlier, in 1868, during Powell's preliminary expedition, Vasey had accompanied him and collected a large number of plants. But then George Vasey returned to Illinois, where he became curator of the Illinois State University Natural History Museum, and ultimately the chief botanist at the USDA. Here's what Powell wrote about Vasey's Paradise on this day in 1869 in his diary. "The river turns sharply to the east and seems enclosed by a wall set with 1,000,000 bright gems. What can it mean? Every eye is engaged. Everyone wonders. On coming nearer, we find fountains bursting from the rock high overhead, and the spray in the sunshine forms the gems which bedeck the wall. The rocks below the fountain are covered with mosses and ferns and many beautiful flowering plants. We named it Vasey's Paradise in honor of the botanist who traveled with us last year. And today is the birthday of the Belgian botanical illustrator Helen Durand, who was born on this day in 1883. After taking classes in art and botany, Durand worked full-time in the garden of the Royal Belgian Institute. She was meticulous in her work as an artist. She once spent more than 105 hours drawing the cone of the Abies nobilis, commonly called the red fir, noble fir, or the Christmas tree. And today is the birthday of Rachel Lowe Lambert Lloyd Mellon, also known as Bunny Mellon. She got her nickname from a nurse. Her earliest memory was shared in the preface of one of her books. She wrote that she remembered being very small near a bed of tall white phlox in my godmother's garden. This towering forest of scent and white flowers was the beginning of ceaseless interest, passion, and pleasure in gardens and books. Bunny became well known after designing the White House Rose Garden, and one of her first designs was for Hattie Carnegie, who was a clothing designer. At the age of 23, Bunny designed her garden and even planted it, and in exchange, Carnegie gave her a coat and dress from her salon. Bunny credited garden books for inspiring her designs. She said, "My beginning started with rare books on plants and garden plants, mostly French or Italian. They were like my Bibles." In unearthed words, here's a poem from Richard Combe Miller. Fairest of months, ripe summer's queen, the heyday of the year, with robes that gleam with sunny sheen, sweet August doth appear. Today's book recommendation is The Complete Illustrated Guide to the Holistic Herbal by David Hoffman. This book offers advice on how to gather herbs and prepare remedies. For each herb, it tells how to grow, harvest, dry, store, and use each plant. For today's garden chore, if you're looking to add more shrubs to your garden, consider adding black lace, black elder. Black lace is a very versatile plant. It handles tough conditions with ease, and when it flowers, it really goes overboard, and it looks extra fantastic against the finely cut foliage. Each of the flowers has 5 stamens. The fragrance is lovely, and it's very popular with pollinators. And black lace is perfect for growing as a hedge. You can chop it back in the spring to keep it more compact, and you'll get even darker leaves. Finally, here's something sweet to revive the little botanic spark in your heart. Today in 1945, the Japanese arborist Masayuki propagated a new generation of flame trees from the mother tree. The mother tree had survived the atomic bomb on Nagasaki. One of the trees is now located at the Glasgow Botanic Garden. It's planted at the entrance of the herb garden. And here's a bonus spark for you today. Today in 1967, the song San Francisco, performed by Scott McKenzie, started a 4-week run at the #1 spot on the UK singles chart. It starts out with these lyrics: "If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you're going to San Francisco, you're going to meet some gentle people there." Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener, and remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day. The Daily Gardener is produced weekdays in lovely Maple Grove, Minnesota. You can find complete show notes over at thedailygardener.org, and be sure to share the show with your garden friends. You can find The Daily Gardener on all your favorite social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest, and of course, Facebook. While you're over at Facebook, don't forget to join the Daily Gardener community. Just search for these 3 words, Daily Gardener Community. The group will pop right up, and then request to join. Finally, I want to thank my team at Podfly Productions, where my fabulous editor is Eric Begay. Have a great weekend in the garden, and we'll see you on Monday.